Hello there, everybody. It's Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. We have just squeaked out a victory on this leg of the Rise from the Ashes case. We managed to not only like disprove that Mike Meekins killed anyone, but we also managed to figure out who the person masquerading as the detective was, Detective Goodman, who was inside the evidence room. It turns out it was, in fact, Officer Marshall. And we are about to delve into why he did all of that. But I just want to call out, interesting twist, and a nice subversion of expectations. I was so primed that this was somehow involved with Officer Goodman's actual murder that happened in the parking lot. Like, just a theory I was actually working in my mind, just so people know. I was thinking that the murder did not happen in the parking lot, but actually happened in the evidence room, and then whoever killed him brought the body to the parking lot, and that somehow it had been all set up over at the parking lot, that no actual murder had happened there. I couldn't figure out how that would have happened, and as it turns out, that wasn't the case at all. It seems like it was just pure coinkydink that Detective Marshall was going inside the evidence room dressed as Goodman and almost got attacked there. Like, it all actually was just a fluke, you know. But there is something going on there since, as we established, Marshall did not know about the fingerprint scanner, so he would not have been able to open the evidence locker unless it had already been jammed open with that glove. And that's way too big of a coincidence that it just happens to have accidentally been left open, the locker. So I can only assume that there is some kind of setup going on between these two events, but it's not the one I was thinking of, about the body being transported from one place to another. That doesn't seem to be exactly what's going on here, but I don't want to drop that thread yet, that these two are connected somehow. The not actual murder and the actual murder in the parking lot. But yes, let's get into why Officer Marshall was doing what he did. I'm pretty sure I've worked it out, at least partly. It seems like he has a very personal connection to the SL9 case, but let's let him explain first and see if we have to gently prompt him with our evidence. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. Oh, what? There's still more of this? He's got more testimony? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember that Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. Okay. And there's Phoenix being like, I better look at the files. Now, I know what item to drop down, but I don't know at which point in this testimony, and I only have one blip of health left. I think here, because he's even prompting us with a guess here, like with a question, like, you know why. So I'm gonna drop it here. Where is it? Now let's not press E for present until I'm super sure I have the right item. Here are the SL9 incident files. Press enter to check them. You may remember this, I called this out. There's a guy called Neil Marshall here on the victims list, so I'm gonna go with this. Well, the music cut out, that's promising. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man?
Neil Marshall?
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
Oh! Now that was a connection I did not foresee. What? His brother was a prosecutor?
What? A prosecutor?
Oh, gosh, I don't know if you just saw that. That was my mouse popping up there. Let me just move it over there to the side. There we go. I don't know if OBS captures the mouse. I know Fraps used to do that, but I'm not sure how OBS does on that front. I hope it didn't show up, but in case it did, my bad. He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award.
Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did.
Oh, and he had to stop handling it because he was murdered. Ooh, that's...
That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands.
But what's his relation to you?
He was my brother.
Yeah, I guess there is some resemblance there. Yeah, I see it. But I kind of figured something like that was the case. Brother, father, you know, something like that. Cousin, husband, you know. Family is what I was guessing on, obviously. So, yeah.
He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then deputy chief of police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer.
Oh, wow, I just barely saw, actually, on the bottom of that group of 3 people, I think that was Neil also there. There was a 4th person in that shot, because I don't know if that was on purpose, but the text box blocking it like that, when we previously saw that scene, kinda smart. I dig it. But now I think maybe I'm going mad, but I swear I saw a 4th person around that table when the text box faded for a split second. I think that's kind of fun. Huh.
Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed.
Oh, interesting. Marshall was last on the list because he was on the bottom right, so does that imply that he was the last victim as well? That cinched the case. Interesting.
He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight.
And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions?
There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened to the police department. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day.
Huh. Oh dear, look at that Smugworth again.
The things that happen by chance...
Happen by... Let's try again that line read as well.
The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance? It's got to be more than just that.
So, if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was a real one.
Not a super good line read there either, but we'll just let that one slip by.
Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
But...
There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner.
All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it.
Uh-oh, are they though, Edgeworth? Are they? I assume we as Phoenix are gonna have to throw down something to still cast doubt. I was talking about that at the beginning of today's episode, about the whole lockbox being like, security locker being like unlocked. You know, there's that vase might be something? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I think we have to jump in a moment.
Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Ms. Angel Starr is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. I rest my case.
That wasn't much of a word, Phoenix, but sure.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
Oh no, super Smugsworth now. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
Yeah, that's why this is actually really fun, this case. I love that we are so caught up in solving this case. Like, even me as a player kind of forgot about the whole Lana thing for a long stretch as I was trying to figure out how to break the evidence room murder. So that's really fun. That's really, really fun.
Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant...
Emma? Oh, jumping on the freaking podium. Damn. Your Honor, wait! Emma! The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright? Are you this girl's guardian?
Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. Wow, Could this work? Because no one has ever tried to just appeal to Edgeworth's good nature. If that's what works out in the end, that would be amazing.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
It worked. Wow. Neat.
I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings.
Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky Sisters were in that file. Oh yeah, what was their, which was the place? I know she was the prosecutor, Lana, but where was Emma? Was she a witness? Let's go one more time on this. Yes, witnesses were both Lana and Emma. Huh. And Lana was, of course, executive investigator here, yeah. Okay, so I guess we need to... Yeah, definitely. Let's find out what the connection is.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again.
Oh, that's why she wasn't here for the, duration that we were doing the investigation with, Marshall, the cross-examination with Marshall. Okay. I kind of forgot, why she wasn't there anymore, but okay, yeah, that's cool. Good little twist here.
Huh. So did you find something? No.
Huh?
Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
Is that all?
Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student.
And I'm just an attorney.
But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Me?
Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
Man, I wish that Emma would have opened up on what she witnessed, Seems like that could have actually been more useful here, instead of this, last-minute Hail Mary we're going for, but okay. Maybe it wouldn't have revealed anything relating to this specific thing, but we have to figure out at some point what was the thing that she witnessed.
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
You know what I just realized? Once again, we go back to the tape.
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. Sorry guys, I wanna do a really quick check here. And this might be another red herring. Again, I might be barking up the wrong trail, but let's take a quick look. Oh no, this isn't gonna work. Never mind. See, I was wondering, do we see the blood splotch show up after the murder here, the quote-unquote murder here happens? But the freaking blue badger head is in the way, so never mind. This isn't gonna work. I'll watch this just in case. like, now I'm just paying attention to both of the lockers, the Marshall's locker and Gumshoe's locker. I'm just, like, having a look here. The head does, like, bob really far to the right, so you might be able to spot something? Okay, come on. Badger head. No, that's not gonna help out at all. No, no. Okay. That's probably not my avenue of success here. Too bad. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Well, I have to go big, obviously. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction.
The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
Is it the blue badger? It's not there. I'm not sure. Is it because the blue badger is missing from this picture? Is the idea that because we couldn't see the thing because of the blue badger in the way, that casts doubt on when that blood mark was put there? Of course, we could just ask Officer Marshall, did he plant that blood smear there? I don't know if that's the correct avenue. But the thing is, it is missing from there, the blue badger. Well, I'm gonna try it. The music cut out, and Marshall is talking specifically about plywood, so... I hope I did the right one. I don't know. The floating health bar did not prop up, so hopefully I didn't... Even if I got this wrong, they'll give me another chance. Give me another chance, coach. Put me in, coach. I can do it. Okay, let's see.
What about that piece of plywood?
The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here.
So?
So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well?
Well, what?
Oh!
That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. Wow, that's even better than what I was thinking, was that the badger in the video is blocking the image. I didn't even think about, like, you couldn't reach to the locker. It's hard to tell from that video, like, how close the badger was to the locker, so I didn't realize, like, this was an option. Okay, but still, I think I'm not gonna call shenanigans, because the fact that they were calling out so hard, asking you to figure out what is missing from the floor plan, obviously, you know, the badger was the one thing missing. So I think that was pretty smart altogether. That wasn't like a cheapo thing at all, even though like I didn't quite understand the relation to why that was important. It was still pretty smart, pretty logical thing to figure out. I like it.
So that means, just exactly what does that mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically.
Emma?
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So, that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in?
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
Ooh, amazing diction there, Judge. I love it. Far-fetched balderdash. Ugh.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time.
Oh, and this would also explain the whole giant puddle of blood, which seemed like a weird explanation that, oh yeah, you know, that was from Officer Meekins, all that blood.
Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered.
Oh my god! So that thing I was talking about earlier about the body being moved from the evidence room, I was on the right track after all. It was just that the time of the murder I was wrong about. Oh my god, is this possible?
That's ridiculous! I refuse to accept your absurd claim.
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker.
So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred.
When did the first incident occur?
To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room.
That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well, then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented.
Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place?
Oh, yeah, I have it. It's gotta be the ID card record, right? Let's check it real quick before we present it. Oh god, are we gonna... Oh no. This is gonna look bad on Edgeworth because... But maybe it's that 420 time?
If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required.
I kind of flubbed it to do so there, but yeah.
An ID card. Oh, the ID card record.
Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room. Okay, I'm really off my game today. Let me take a sip of water. Maybe that'll help. Yum. Let's have another go. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at... Let's see here. 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done?
I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy.
Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me.
Nope, I ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either. Oh, because he was at the ceremony, right? The award ceremony. It lines up, right? But then, wait a second. No, that doesn't say... He already admitted to have been in there, right? Hold on now. It's clear from... Oh, wow. Ooh, Jesus. Ooh, I'm really off my game today. Sorry. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means... the blood from the first crime was wiped away. By the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. I guess that makes sense, yeah, good call, Edgeworth. That would mean... the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 777-7777.
Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. Yep, checks out to me. Makes sense to me. He went in with 777-7777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777-777777.
That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card.
I was just counting in my head, did I read the right amount of sevens? When the quote-unquote right, which was the wrong amount that the judge said. So did I say 7, 8 times? I don't know. Check the tape. Anyway.
At least, at present.
What?
Explain yourself, son.
The ID number 777-7777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
That's kind of weird, because now they're a suspect in murder, so yeah. But that's ridiculous. Just how...
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge.
You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates.
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself.
Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question.
Yes?
No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive.
Lana?
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 777-7777.
Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence?
Uh-oh. Is she sworn to be honest now that she's on the stand? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think there's some lies going on. It's not like people haven't lied on the stand before in this game, so, what am I babbling about? Let's see.
Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor?
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time,
Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did.
Ah.
Oh god, she's gonna admit to it. Oh my god. And she did it.
Lana!
I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor.
Okay, now hold on. They're both standing behind a stand, but which stand? What the?
I know this is not the most important thing in this scene to focus on, but I don't get it.
During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Ugh!
Why won't you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
But Lana...
Even if it involved forging evidence.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
No!
No! Order! 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 Order!
Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Wow, yeah, that is the loudest the crowd has ever been. I get it, though. A person as high as her admitting to a miscarriage of justice, that's a huge bombshell. This, I've said it before, I can't believe when we started this fifth case that I was oh, is this going to be as good as the other cases? Because it's this fifth extra case that was made years after. And this one has been an insanely compelling, not just the level of mystery, but now just this hard questions about the law and the functioning of law versus justice. This is who Nelly? It's something, this case. It's hitting just as hard as the hardest moments of the previous cases. Oy, oy, oy.